Hi, I'm Merike and welcome to Hey Hi Who Are You, the podcast that explores and recognizes everyday creativity. And today on the show, we have a guest that I've known since I was 3 years old, and she is one of my absolute favorite people in the whole world. And her name is Sadie Snip. So, welcome to the show. Hello, welcome.
Hi.
I love your poutine hat. It's the best
I
thing.
wore it specifically for you.
It's the best outfit on the
And
podcast so far.
You can have it. I mean, don't tell Jordy.
Well, Jordy's wolf sweater was pretty good yesterday. So
I still haven't watched the episode yet because like you released it this morning and I'm 2 hours behind and I was like out in the town, so I was like,
I should have released it with Alberta time in mind.
thanks. Yeah, next time, please.
For my Alberta fans, which is like one person.
Yeah, me. This is my mug from it's actually so awesome. My boyfriend's sister got me this for Christmas. She like sent it in the mail. It says support your local street cats.
Oh my god, I love
And
it
it's
so
like
much.
a possum, a raccoon, a skunk, and then like also my perfect like 70s like vibe typography
With a rainbow.
and now I drink like anything out of it. Like it'll be like water, and I'm like, just so I don't. You could like make a segment with like font, and be like, what mug is Merike drinking from? I don't know. Cut that out. I'm just kidding.
No, it's singing.
You before the other day. Don't worry, I'll cut out anything you don't want in there.
Oh, my pets are here. Hello.
Hi, Rue. Is it Rue and Peeps?
Rue and Beeps are both here. Weirdly sniffing. I don't know what they're sniffing. Oh, my nachos.
You have nachos?
I have nachos. I'm not gonna munch them while we talk on here though, because it'll be like weird ASMR into the microphone.
No, it was really funny. I went out this morning. Also, I like walked out of my room, and my one roommate was like, "We don't have a rolling pin." She was like rolling something with like a wine glass, a wine bottle, and I was like, "What are you making?" And she's like French, and she's like a croissant. And I was like, "This is the most like stereotypical experience."
Rolling dough with
flour
a wine bottle.
everywhere. She was like, the recipe said to mix the dough on your highest mixer for like 5 minutes. She's like, we don't have one of those. She's like, so for like 15 minutes, I've just been like, like. Anyways, they should turn out make croissants. So I was like,
She's
wow.
the one with the dog that only knows French commands, right?
Yeah, so for anyone that cares, I have one Australian, one Kiwi, 2 Brits, and then a girl from Quebec with a dog who only speaks French, but she also has a British accent. And her boyfriend's
the dog
British.
Or the girl?
The dog. The funniest part about living with people with all these different accents, like obviously we're all speaking English, but like there's some times where like none of us can understand each other. Like because we all either have like a different name for something or we say it just like really different. Like even the Kiwi, well, like she probably has the funniest accent. But like whipped cream, like from a spray can, I learned the other day, they call in England squirty cream.
Ew.
Which does not sound really gross. Or like squirty cream to me sounds like Cheese Whiz in a can, kind of like not like
or like
cream,
or like I don't know. It just sounds
or
dirty.
like yeah,
really dirty.
Can I have some of your squirty cream? I was like,
you're like, no, you cannot. You're like, excuse me.
No. Yes.
I mean,
or
but
like the cereal aisle. Like Dom literally thought that was like the sweets aisle. I was like, no, this is breakfast in America or
breakfast
Canada.
Is like, tiny cookies in a box.
Yeah, with like it makes your milk chocolate milk. By the way, everyone, we have like hard iced tea. So we're like pouring it in our
cute little mugs as if we're drinking tea, but it's just hard tea.
It does kind of look like it. Wait.
It does look like it. Wait.
Yeah. I mean, it is tea. Just with a little bit of kick to it.
Oh wait, look how cute my mug is. It has like,
oh yeah, you didn't tell me.
Like a cat that wants to eat a bird, and the birdie's just sitting there. I have like a whole
cat too.
I have like
Where did you get him?
There's this pottery store in like Tallinn, Estonia, like the capital, in the old part of the town, where it's just this lady who hand paints sets of her own pottery, but every year we go back, she's made the set, like she's made new pieces of the same set. So I buy one or two pieces of pottery every time we go. So now I have
Like,
like this
yeah.
set with like a mug, a tiny mug, like an egg cup, a plate, a bowl, and like they're a little bit different every time, but it has the same bird and the same cat every time. And my sister
Oh,
has a set that has a caterpillar and a ladybug on her whole set. So they're like really, really cute and they're hand painted. So yeah. Oh, side note, did you see that Tuli, like for anyone who doesn't know, my sister, got me these flowers as a congrats for doing my podcast, and I thought that was so cute
that
and
was
so
so smart.
unnecessary.
Yeah. I think that's like one of those things you get better at when you're like older is like like growing up, like your mom or people like around you would do those kind of things, and then you get older and then you
You
like
realize
get
you
better
have to
at
be the
doing
one
them
to do it.
yourself. You're
Yeah.
that person now. Like I think I was talking about that with Tuli like this past summer. Like we were at the cottage, your cottage, and she brought a bunch of stuff and I was like, oh, like you're buying all this, like these dishes and stuff for the cottage. She was like, yeah, she was like, I kind of realized now that I'm like kind of old that like it's my turn to like actually, I like, his growing up, every like all the parents just like replenish the stuff at your cottage.
Yeah.
She's like, but now I'm that age, like I'm not a
No,
kid
I have to
anymore.
step into those shoes. Yeah, exactly.
It's,
I
you know,
realized that too, where like my mom used to go to like Bella's flower shop all the time and get flowers for people whenever they had a death in the family or they had an anniversary or whatever. And I
yeah.
like remember thinking that was so normal as a kid. And then I was like, oh wait, like I need to start doing that because I think that it's so nice. And like, yeah, like I bought flowers from Bella's mom recently for like a friend of mine whose grandpa passed away. And like things like that I feel like are so important. And I always like, I never really like realized it, like you said, that your mom would always be the one who does it.
Don't
And
just
now
turn
like
up,
you
you
get to
know?
start doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like have to do it yourself. So to anyone that's watching this, the funniest thing about like your podcast studio, which is like it's now your podcast studio, is like this is your attic where we like would play Littlest Pet Shop.
Yeah.
And like I like play like literal like Bratz dolls, like right where you're sitting is actually where you had the like Littlest Pet Shop like house with like all remember you had all those little like food pellets randomly?
Yes, we had a Barbie
Playmobil or
veterinarian
something?
set.
Oh yeah, Barbie veterinarian set.
Yeah.
My funniest memory, well not funniest, it's actually not that funny now that anyways, a memory I have that's not really that funny, it's just a memory, in that attic was we were playing like literal Bratz and we like wanted to play it there for some reason, but I also think it's because like your sisters were up there and we wanted to like see what they were doing because they were like older and they were watching that horror movie Teeth.
Yes.
And instead of turning it off or like us leaving, they were like, just don't look at the TV.
So we
were like playing
hid
Bratz,
behind the sofa.
literally right there, and then they were like shrieking and stuff. Obviously, because I don't know if anyone's ever seen that movie, but like,
Teeth.
yeah, it's shriek worthy. And we were just playing with our Barbies. Like, I don't know what they're doing.
I think I scarred a lot of my friends when I was little because I brought them over when they like Annie I brought over and like she was also the oldest kid like you are, and so you guys didn't get exposed to like R-rated stuff, but like I did all the time obviously because like I'm the youngest and my sisters are so much older. So like I invited Annie over, I remember, and she got super scarred because we watched Love Actually when we were like 7 years old, and there's like
boobs in it.
so many sex scenes.
And yeah, well, like if you think about it, like at that time, like if you didn't have an older sibling or something, or like if someone at school tell you like wouldn't have seen that kind of thing.
Yeah, because like your parents aren't gonna be like, "Hey, come watch this movie with us."
Well, like it's funny because my sister definitely did see a lot of crap, but like it's almost like when you're so young to watch something, like all the inappropriate stuff like goes over her head. Because I can remember being like 10 and she was like 7 or like 6, and we were watching movies with my parents. Because my parents like we go to the movies a lot because we lived really close to the movies, and they would take us to a lot of kids movies. But then sometimes they'd be like, "Screw it, like we're going to a 14A movie because we want to see this movie where we've seen all the like Alvin and the Chipmunks movies now." So like, come on. And I was like horrified because like I at least like knew what sex was, or like I heard the word or whatever.
Yeah.
But like my sister is just sitting there like
she didn't even recognize that it was something she should be like shocked about. It was just
right. So it was like almost worse for me.
Yeah, because you were aware of it, but not old enough to be okay with it.
Yeah.
On the topic of movies, I wanted to ask you what your favorite movie is ever, and I feel like I probably already know, but I want to know.
Do you want to guess?
Ooh, I feel like I'm not gonna get it.
What would you have said for current? Would you have said Lilo and Stitch? That would have been a good guess, because that's what it is right now.
I'm like weirdly thinking like something along the lines of like Aquamarine, but not like something like that, but not that.
That's actually like, yeah, no, like those
that
are great.
that genre of movie though.
It's Coraline.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so weird because Jordy said that was one of his favorites too.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I haven't listened. I should listen to it. Maybe like when things like settle down. Definitely, I miss Jordy too. I want to see him, but like we can all watch that movie. I like that movie a lot. Because like I just love all of the like art in it, like the way it's animated. It's just chef's kiss.
Like claymation or something.
Yeah, like it's like where they like move all the dolls and like it's really cool because they the studio that like animated it, I think it's called like Leica or something.
Leica, yeah. Leica did Box Trolls and other movies like that too.
They like literally hand crocheted like all the clothes. They're like knitted, just really tiny.
So cool.
So it's really cool. But and I've always kind of liked like weird, not creepy things. That sounds stupid to say, but like Halloween's my favorite time. Like the movies just feels like Halloween-y.
Yeah.
And when I first watched it in grade 8, like I used to like fake sick all the time and stay home and like watch it on like Rogers on Demand.
Yeah.
And eventually my mom was like, stop ordering this movie. And like they went out and bought me like the DVD because like I literally would order that movie like all the time. They were like, stop. If we were going to say like dumb movies that like, not dumb, but like not like Academy
like a guilty pleasure kind of movie.
Yeah, it would definitely be like Cheap Brother Dozen 2, specifically this one. I love that movie. That movie weirdly, and then Home Alone 2.
Yes.
I love because like he's in New York. And I just went to New York for the first time like a year ago, but I like always wanted to like because of that movie. And then Shrek 2. So what I'm realizing from this is I think I just like sequels.
Yeah. Shrek 2 actually is kind of underrated, I feel like. Shrek
High School Musical 2 as well.
Wait, what happens in that one? I can't remember.
Like they work at the country club and Sharpay sings like Fabulous. Like it's in the summertime.
Yes. I want Fabulous.
Oh, the second one didn't do as well, but it's good.
You know what? Like
maybe that's the one
Rotten Tomatoes, like you know, whatever it's called.
Don't look at it anymore because they gave Cheap Brother Dozen 2 6%. 6.
Which like
that movie is incredible.
Yeah.
Well, like would I give it 100? Personally, yes. But do I understand why critics didn't? Yes, but like a 6?
6 is like they barely like a 6 would be like if they didn't finish making the movie.
But like everyone I've showed that movie to like really enjoys it. It's just like, first of all, it's Steve Martin and it's at a cottage. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say.
So you don't spoil a movie from like the 2000s.
And it's little Shark Boy or like Jacob or Taylor Lautner, whatever you want to refer to him as. It's a good movie. I saw this like really funny. It was like this like quiz, and it was like how to tell if a guy is like if you're into is creepy or not. Basically, they're like, picture him if you were Bella and he came randomly, scaled up your house and like appeared in your room like Edward. Would you be like, or would you be like, no? And the example they used was like Danny DeVito or something randomly. And they're like, would you be excited if like Danny DeVito was in your room? And the girl was like, yes. Yes.
I saw a TikTok that was like how to tell early warning signs of if you should stay or go with a new guy, and it was like you should check out his shower products, and it was like if he only he was like if he has a 3-in-1 it's time to run, and he's like, let me hear you say it, if he has a 3-in-1 it's and then he was like, if they have sensitive shampoo, then that means he's a sensitive guy and you should probably stick around. And like if he it's just like so funny. I was like, accurate.
Wait, what's your favorite movie of all time?
I gotta say, like, and this sounds
I know the movie you've watched the most times in your life.
Yes, what is it?
It's 27 Dresses.
Yes. I've watched it like actually probably not even joking like 120 times because I used to watch it every night to fall asleep.
On your iPod. Touch.
On my iPod Touch, yeah.
Yeah.
But so that's definitely not my favorite movie. It's definitely in my top, like, I don't know.
That's also a movie I've never seen.
Yeah, that would be my most watched movie because it's just like a weird obsession, and I can weirdly quote everything from it. And also James Marsden is just like my dream man. So there you go.
Remember
But
when we were at that party and you were like, that guy looks like James Marsden, and I want to tell him that,
and
but
then I did.
also, yeah, but you're like, how do I do that? Without being like, you look like James Marsden and he's my biggest celebrity crush, you know, like how do you
Like the creepiest way to hit on someone.
well, remember that time we were at that like event too and that guy looked like KJ Appa, like the guy
Yep.
from Archie from like Riverdale, and we were like, can we take a picture with you? And he was like, yes. Sorry, go back.
Yeah, favorite movie of all time would have to be The Philadelphia Story, which sounds like I'm trying to be hard, like try hard and hipster, but it's a movie from 1940, and the lady in it, Katharine Hepburn, she's not related to Audrey Hepburn, but she's just like so badass, and that also has one of my biggest celebrity crushes ever, Cary Grant, who's like just like the most gentleman hot man ever from the 40s. um it's basically like a movie about a love triangle, except more than a triangle because she has three men that are trying to get her, but she's like, yeah, I love square. Yeah. I love diamond.
Like, yeah, kind of, yeah.
I love
diamond.
trapezoid. Yeah, it's this shape. But yeah, anyway, that one is so good. I've seen that movie lots and lots of times too, and I saw it in theaters right before COVID, where like all the theaters shut down. I went to see it in like a retro theater in Kitchener, and yeah, that was awesome. Before we were talking about being like our younger selves and whatever, and one of the questions I'd sent to you before was like, if you could talk to your younger self, what could you tell her? And I thought of this because remember when me and you did in grade 8, I think it was in grade 8 or 9, we talked to like younger girls and told them about like things they should like look out for and stuff, which I thought was a really cool thing to do.
Probably did do that. I did a lot of stuff like that where I'm now like, oh God, you were not qualified to be giving
No,
anyone.
but I think it's a really good idea for younger girls to hear from slightly older ones, like not ones that are like 40. Like they want to talk, like hear from the girls they're like currently looking up to, which is high school girls, which was us.
Right. Number one, I'd say wear your retainer. And I don't know, we were just talking about this. So much of like your entire, and like everyone is like this too, like you're so thinking all the time that everyone's like looking at you and like whatever, but like everyone's so focused on themselves because everyone's like so anxious and awkward and like all those things. We were just talking about this, like I wish we'd like not been so scared to just do things like because we wanted to do them, not because like, and it's not saying we didn't, but like, you know, just like telling a guy we liked him, or like, you know, or like trying out for a sport or something, like all these things where like now we can't do that, which is fine, but like at the time you're like, oh, the worst that could have happened would have been like you didn't make the team, or like no, I don't want to go out with you, or no, I don't feel the same, and we like didn't tell people.
Yeah.
You know, like you didn't even like raise your hand sometimes to answer a question or ask a question.
Yeah,
Because
or
you were
like
like, what if people are like gonna make fun of me? And it's like, well, maybe a few people will, and
but,
like maybe
like,
speaking
those
of
people.
myself, but like, yeah, we didn't do that. Like
Yeah.
we didn't, like I never, if someone put up their hand and asked a question, was like, why did he ask that question?
Yeah.
So like probably most people were like that, and they're like I was saying, everyone's so focused on themselves.
Yeah.
And like fitting in and like figuring things out.
And like the coolest people that I remember from high school were those people, or high school or university or any part of life really, are the people who like really were completely themselves, and like those were the coolest people. And I feel like, but for some reason when in your own head you're like, oh, but I couldn't do that because people wouldn't like me. But it's like, but they probably would. And also the people who will like you for who you actually are the people you should care about anyway.
Yeah, or like it's like if they don't like you, it's like, well, that sucks because like you're not me, and like I'm not. I know I'm nice. I'm like fine. Like if they don't like me, then like that's on them.
Yeah.
You know.
But then like, yeah, you don't need everyone. Yeah, true. That's something I probably need to still work on sometimes. Is like not everyone has to like you. Like I don't like everyone, so of course not everyone's gonna like me.
But also working on, if you don't like someone, like making sure it's for an actual valid reason.
Yeah.
Like I think so much of our world, like probably with like just social media, is like you don't like someone and then you're like, why do I really not like them? Like even just a celebrity, but you're like, oh, I don't know, I actually don't hate that many celebrities, but I was like, oh, I hate like Ariana Grande, let's say, for example. I don't. It's like, why? You actually don't even really know her.
Yeah,
If she's
like,
never
what are
like
you
personally
basing
done
it on?
anything to you, or
Yeah.
like the same goes for like people I see now that like maybe were mean to me in high school. I'm like, I'm so different than I was literally almost 5 years ago. I'm imagining they're different too. So like, I'm not going to try and remember that you were like mean to me once in grade 11, or like whatever, you made me feel weird in grade 11. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to try and think of you as like new, like 22, 23-year-old blank, whoever the person's name is.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Because like,
I think one big thing I realized recently was like valuing drama. Like I never thought I was like someone who thrived off drama, because like I never really outwardly put that out in the world, but I think inwardly I did value drama, and I thought that was like something to like look for, like that was exciting. And now I'm like, I value peace over drama so much. Do you know what I mean? Like just having like consistent happiness rather than like some crazy exciting thing of like highs and lows. Like I think consistency is like really important, and just being at peace with like yourself is so much more
the
important.
things like that we like would find now, drama and gossip, are like way bigger than like in high school. It would be like, well, there's two things I want to talk about on that point. One is like, I think because everyone is so thinking about themselves, and like if something like happens like that's like drama-ish, it's like, phew, there's like a literally like not a spotlight on me anymore. Like, like there's like someone like, oh, someone like hooked up with this person at a party, like that's like something to talk about, and it's like, but I didn't do that, so like dodged a bullet there kind of thing. Or like,
Yeah.
like it's kind of like it takes the shift off you for a second, which is really really messed up.
Yeah.
And two, so many things, and like I didn't like, honestly, I don't think I treated anyone differently because of some of the things I've heard, but I think now I'm like, probably like 99% of the things we did
Weren't
hear about
true.
things that happened weren't even true.
Yeah.
Like, or like, I don't know, I always like think like I wish I'd almost just like, if someone like got pregnant or something in like grade 10 or something, obviously they're going through it. So like I probably could have been a bit like, if I'd seen them in the hallway, maybe not stare at them, like, I could have been like, hey, how are you doing? Or like, I don't know, not that I didn't do that, like make it seem like someone was pregnant and I was like, but you know what I mean? Like, or if I heard a story about someone, like not have any effect on them unless like I personally like experienced it, because like, yeah, that probably didn't happen, or if it did happen, it didn't happen like nearly in the same way
In the
that
way
people are
that someone
saying
said,
it.
yeah. Well, because you got to
Or
think,
like
why
even
is
thinking,
someone telling you that story? Like, what was they gaining from telling you that story? And like, maybe they weren't
right,
gaining anything, but a lot of the time it would be, yeah, like you said, to get the attention off of them. So maybe they made the story bigger than it actually was.
now knowing what I know and stuff, just be like, screw it, like who cares? Even if that story is true, which it probably isn't, like that doesn't affect anything.
Yeah, or
Like
like,
that person, I didn't sleep with that person or whatever, so like they're still totally the exact same person to me.
yeah, totally.
Like unless the story was like, oh, this person ran someone over with her car and drove off, well then like maybe I don't want to be necessarily
Yeah,
that person. But if it was like, oh wow, that person slept with 3 people on Saturday night, it's like, that's
okay.
literally
That's
if that is
their
true,
business.
that's their literal life. It's
Yeah,
their business. I Sadie Snip should, if that is true, not be hearing about it, because that's their business. Like, why am I hearing about it?
yeah,
Like,
totally.
what the hell?
Yeah.
And then B, if it did happen, freaking cool. Like, as long as they were safe and like it was fine, it wasn't anything bad.
Yeah, totally.
Well, I
Totally.
don't know.
Yeah.
Don't even know where that like advice would. I guess if I did summarize, will be, yeah, one, were your retainers. B, or two. One, B. Two, just literally be 100% yourself. Like, and for a lot of people that would look even maybe different, like me, mine would probably be like, be even nicer to more people, talk to more people, do more things. And for some people, it might look the complete opposite. Maybe it was like, you were too nice to people. You didn't set boundaries. You literally were like, doorstep. Like people just walk doormat. People just like walked all over you. So maybe it's like opposite for some people. And then C and or 3, whatever we want to go with, is that like, yeah, the drama thing. It's just so stupid. It's just like, it seems like such a big thing when you're in it. But like in the grand scheme of things, it literally means nothing. And like on top of it, you literally have no idea what people are going through at home. Like literally no idea. Like that really pretty girl that you like also think you want to be, you know, or like, you know, those people we were saying like, oh, we wish you could be like them. You don't know what they're battling internally or at home or whatever's happening. Like just be you.
Yeah,
you know?
and like what me and Jordy were saying in the last episode was like the only comparison you should ever make is to the best version of yourself. Comparing yourself to anyone else doesn't even make any sense if you actually think about it. Like you are just a completely different, separate bundle of experiences and genetics, blah blah blah, whatever.
Unless you're gonna try and be them, like in The Roommate, where you literally like try and take their identity, then no, you're right. Like it's not gonna.
Or like that
not gonna just randomly
quote
be
where it's like where he's like nobody is youer than you, and like I love that.
Yeah. Or what's that one that's like the Winnie the Pooh quote that's really good? It says, if you weren't you, then we'd all be a little less we.
That's so
cute. Well, it's actually, if you weren't you, then we'd all be a little less we. Little Pooh. I know.
Winnie the Pooh is the sweetest. Oh, sorry, random, but kind of tying into this, but tying into our last conversation about movies. One thing that really, really affected me actually was, you know that movie We Bought a Zoo?
Yeah.
I love that movie. But one thing that really, really stuck with me from that I actually really need to implement in my life again, because I actually used to like have this in my head and I implemented it all the time, or tried to, at least, is like it only takes 5 seconds of intense courage. And I was like, yes, that is so true. You just need that 5 seconds of like, this is what I'm doing, and just go and do whatever it is. Say that thing, send that message, send that application, whatever it is. You only need those couple seconds, and then you have no idea like what else could come after that. Like, just don't. Yeah, I remember thinking that like changed my whole mindset, and like I need to remember that again. Actually, that was a big one.
That's a good one. And it's also another one, like, to build on top of that, is if you are going to do the thing you're going to do, then like totally do it. Yeah. Don't like half-ass it. Like, you know, if you're going to go out for like that play or something, then like, you know, go out for it.
Don't be
like,
shy and like half downplay it. Yeah. When I was talking to Jordy, we were talking about that you were Alice in Wonderland. You were Alice, and you were so good. I like forgot that you used to be in plays all the time. Do you like ever kind of wish you still did that or no?
Sometimes I'll see like acting and I'm like, I would love to be an actor. I'd love to be in movies. It's like so fun and I love doing it. But then I'm also like, I think I also met a lot of people that like actually do that, and a lot of it is literally just like, I did a Shoppers Drug Mart commercial, which is incredible for them, but it's like, and that's also me being like anxious and dumb too, being like, maybe even though that's what I love, it's a huge risk to take because you might be like unemployed or like, which is sad because like, you know, well, like especially at time right now, probably not a good time to become an actor, but like it would be something that would be cool to do in the future. I remember I went out for Alice in Wonderland because my mom was like, "We'll give you $50," and I was like, "Well, I
didn't know that."
Oh yeah, because I like would have wanted to, but it would have been the same thing with the like high school thing where I'm like, oh, I don't know, like kind of weird, like, and then like the $50 was like, well, at the end of the day, even if I don't get in, I at least got $50 out of it.
Yeah. I remember we used to practice your lines in your mom's office at the high school.
Yeah, or learn them the period before.
Yeah, I remember I used to read like Absalom's lines while you would say Alice's lines. Yeah, I was asking, what did you do in university? Because if people don't know, then share.
Oh, that's another thing that's so crazy about like high school and being young is like literally I was like 17. I had to pick what I wanted to do for the next 4 years, which at the time I was like, this is what I have to do for the rest of my life, which is not true.
Yeah.
But something that you will do that will financially bankrupt you at least.
Yeah. And it better be like, at least somewhat worth being bankrupt for.
Right. So it's like you can totally go like, now I'm 22 and I've graduated. I graduated like 21. Like I can go and do another degree if I want, and it's still like I'm still totally young and whatever, and can change what I want to do and blah 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 blah. But you still have to commit to something that you're going to spend a lot of money on.
Yeah.
So I went into thinking back, wow, I was such a rat. I literally went to Toronto with you and your mom, and we went to the Ryerson thing because I hadn't even thought about anything at all, and I went because I was like, oh, it's a day off school. Which is probably not a good way to, decide your future, because my mom sat me down like a day before applications were due because I wanted to go to Australia. That's like all I ever wanted to do. She was like, let's try school first. Like, what are you going to do? Like, show up in Australia with no money, no plan? So my mom made me apply to like 3 schools. Yeah, so I applied. And I picked this one because we'd gone, and I was like, at least looked kind of cool. And then it like needed a portfolio. Literally, me and you were like finishing it that morning.
Yeah, I think we were, well, you didn't even say what program it is yet.
Oh, well, yeah, true. This is part of the story. Fashion communications at Ryerson, which like now I feel really bad because it's like a pretty prestigious. It's like a really big program that like I didn't know. The acceptance rate is like stupid low, and like I even met people in my program who were like waitlisted for like years, and I was like, frick, like I decided that day. Like, me and Merike literally were finishing our project in the car.
I remember I was writing my paper that morning, and you were like, me and my grandma are coming to get you. Are you ready? And I was like, my paper's not done yet.
And on the other side of things, I was like printing my thing at Staples. My mom was like, Sadie Snip, I swear to God, I'm going to kill you. We like applied. We both got in. And then I got into another program as well, which like I think about would be so, you think about things would be so different. Like if you did like one thing different.
Yeah.
It was going to become like I actually still think I really do want to become a teacher, but it was a built-in like teacher's college. It was 5 years. It was just art, which I would have hated. I know I would have hated. I hated it in high school when it's just art.
Yeah, I feel like you really like when there's a reason for the art, Like I feel like you're really good at art, but I think like graphic design / illustration is better for you because there's a purpose behind it. You know what I mean? So it's like more direction, where like when you're just doing art, I remember you being like, what's the point?
And like I am a really artsy person, but
Yeah.
I'm like not like there's still people that are way artsier than me. And I remember like being at like an art school and like looking at a canvas that was literally just red, and people were like, this is beautiful. Like, and they were like talking about like, and I was like, what the frick? This is a red canvas. Like canvas, I peed on it. What do you think? And people were like, that's really beautiful. It like shows like, you are actually incorporating yourself into the canvas, and like bits of you and your DNA are making it up, and it's your story. And I'm like, that's just piss. He pissed on the canvas. Like, I don't know. So I think it would have been 5 years of that. But that was another, my grandma was like, you don't have any idea? Like, you don't know, you don't have any idea which ones you're going to pick? And I was like, no. And we like went to a Cambridge restaurant, and we like wrote out a bunch of like pros and cons on a napkin, my grandma did. And she was like, just like, but like whatever you're picking today, like you got to stick to it. Like literally it came down to, which like now thinking back, this program had way more pros because so anyways, I did fashion communication. Necessarily know if I'm hooked on like fashion. It's more just like,
even though I feel
all
like
the other elements of it.
You are a rather like fashion-y person, I feel like with all your outfits are always awesome, and like I don't know, I feel like you're really into makeup and stuff like that.
They definitely used to be. Thank you, first of all. But they definitely used to be, but now I definitely like don't really care as much as I did. So I feel like it might not be the perfect industry. Maybe like, I don't know, maybe that's specifically sustainable fashion or something. You know what I mean? Like a more narrowed, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyways, we did like pros and cons, and then the one that like decided, oh, this is like where I want to go, was like the pro of where Ryerson was located versus where the York of the other schools, York, was like Jane and Finch.
Yeah, and you were like, do I want to get
Shocking. But Ryerson was like right downtown, so there was also it's Toronto. It was its fair share of exciting things.
Like how me and you used to live in an apartment literally 1 block from a homeless shelter, and then another block from a safe injection site.
Yes. Like when I worked at Jack Astor's too downtown, I literally saw like 2 or 3 people get mugged, like straight up, like women just like have their purses ripped off their arms, and I was like, this is scary. I don't want that to be me. I used to Uber home, and it was straight up like it was like 200 meters, but I was like, or like, it was probably a bit more than that, but I was like, it was like 3 a.m. and I'd have like a bunch of cash on me, and I was like, I'm going to pay for an Uber
The
because I
one
want
time
this get home.
coming home from the bar, me and Jamie were scared, and I don't even know why we were scared, but I mean, in downtown Toronto, you don't really need a reason to be scared at night because it's just scary.
Yeah.
We were coming home from a bar, and I remember it was winter time, and we just wanted to get home as fast as possible, so we just took off our high heels and literally ran in the snow barefoot to get home faster. Um, yeah.
I feel really bad for people that are homeless, and I have no issue buying someone food, like no issue. If you're like, I need food or I need soap or I need deodorant, like I have bought so many people like actual things, and like I don't mind anytime, even when I've literally been so broke. I'm still broke, but like, you know what I mean, like whatever. And I'll be like in Subway and they'll be like, do you have any cash? And I'm like, no, literally pick whatever freaking footlong combo you want, go for it. And they're like, no, I just want cash. And then I'm like, I can't help you.
Yeah,
Like,
because
I
like
can't.
clearly you need this for something else, and like I'm sorry, but I'm not in the business of like giving away my hard-earned like tiny bit of money for something I don't know what I'm giving it to. Yeah.
Yeah, or like I've been in convenience stores where like, can you take me to the ATM? And I'm like, no, just literally pick whatever you want from this convenience store. Like, I don't care if you have a tab of like $50, like you need it more than me. One time though, I gave this, like, do you remember that Indigenous lady that used to sit outside the metro?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
No, she was awesome. First of all, we talked to her like all the time. I would bring her like my leftover food whenever I'd like leave the campus like pub, and I would feel so bad. I'd be like, I don't want you to think I'm just giving you my leftover food, you know, like you're worth more than that. But I would always be like the most random times when nothing was open or like whatever.
Yeah.
And she was always so gracious. She was like, thank you. Like I remember once I brought her fries and I was like, I'm so sorry, I don't have any ketchup. She was like, it's fine. She was like, it's okay, thank you. Like she was like so, and like then I was like, that makes me feel better because like I've also had situations where you like get them food and then they're like, okay, now I also want you to buy me this and this and this.
And you're like, okay, but I'm trying to help you with what little tiny bit of something I have. Like I'm not some rich, like I remember the one time me and my mom were in Toronto, when we were in a Tim Hortons late at night, and there was a man who was sleeping there, and he looked like it was winter time, and I remember he just looked really cold and like really uncomfortable, and he like woke up as we were walking like past him, and we like were like, hey, would you like a coffee and maybe like a donut or something? We just offered to buy him something little. And so we gave it to him and we were like, don't worry about it. Like he offered us like something. We were like, don't worry about it at all. And so we like, me and my mom sat down and like had our own coffee and whatever at a table, like a few tables away. And then he like got up to leave and he came over and gave us a pair of hotel slippers that he had as like a thank you. And it was like the most heartbreakingly sweet thing. Like he obviously just wanted to give us something because he felt like
and so you got to take them too because you want to make it feel like it's a regular transaction. You know, like
but it was
he
like
obviously can't give you money, so he's like, here's my slippers.
it was like so yeah.
We used to help out at the soup kitchen, like through my church in Kitchener, like pretty much every Saturday. But my sister especially loved it, and we got like pretty familiar with like a lot of the homeless people in like KW. And so then when my sister would be like out, and my sister like loved to talk to them like way more. Like I'd be in the kitchen and I'd be like cooking the food. My sister was like, no, I want to talk to them, like whatever. My sister will be like, at any point, my sister even still will be like in Kitchener and she'll see a homeless person. They like know her. They like know her name and stuff. She like knows them. And I'm like, that's so cute.
That is very cute.
And she knows all about them and like what they like and like, I don't know, all their dogs' names and their kids and stuff. My sister's really good at that kind of stuff. Like I think I'm good, but like then there's always like, she's always like that step above. And I'm like, hey, yeah, no.
Like your sister would be so good because she's like, she doesn't have any qualms about saying anything.
She's like a hard ass a bit.
Yeah. Like she's just like tough love in a good
bad
way.
cup that like you really like.
Yeah, totally.
I feel like she's also really good with working with like people with disabilities, which I am too, and I think that might even be something that I might want to pursue. But she's like really good with like people that are disadvantaged in other ways, like that are like a little bit like not scary. That's like not nice to say, but like I'm still like anxious and uncomfortable about like, and I don't feel bad about saying like even at like this Saturday suppers we used to do, like there would be guys like literally just got out of prison for murder and they'd like come hit on me, and I was like, I feel really uncomfortable right now. Whereas my sister would have no problem being like, screw off, buddy. You know what I mean? Like, so she's just like, she's much better at that kind of thing. Like I think my mom is really good at that too. Like my mom her favorite job she ever worked was with young male offenders in prison.
Whoa.
Like working with like these young guys that had been in there for like a variety of reasons, like literal murderers. And my mom was like, just, I'm not taking this shit, you know, like just talking to them and Ryerson, and they moved on to like prison. I don't know.
Well, I guess from there we could talk about like, well, you were saying that people who are in your same program changed to a completely different industry, and you've kind of done that too. Like now you're designing beer labels, which is super cool.
It was really cool to have that like right after school, because it was like really cool to have like merchandise, like not published, that's not the right word, but like
it
sold.
came to life, like it's it's a physical thing. Yeah.
And I didn't look for any of these opportunities, so I'm hopeful and excited that like when I actually like put myself out there in the future and make my portfolio and make my website, more jobs will come, because I haven't chased any down.
Yeah, like you've already been offered things, so when you start actually putting yourself out there, I mean, it stands to reason you'd get some cool things.
You just got an iPad, so like you know what it's like. Like basically, if anyone doesn't know, I've got like an iPad and I've got a pencil. So any things you see that I design, we like hand draw them. It's like the same as if we did it on paper, but like on our thing, which is really cool. Because I'm not really that good at graphic design. Like if it's really simple graphic design, fine. But I like illustration. That's like my thing that I really like.
Yeah.
And more digital, I'm moving into it. It's a lot less work. It's more work, but it's a lot like less messy. You can like undo something you did.
It's more like predictable. Like you don't have to worry that like, oh no, you painted a certain thing and now you can't fix it. It's like you can always go back.
Yeah, and you don't have to bring paint anywhere. Like you can literally just like do it on the train. Like it's kind of cool that way or whatever.
Yeah.
But I like combining like simple graphic design with like my illustrations, which this isn't self promo, but I've just got a beer bottle right here.
Yeah, show.
On my desk. But this one was really cool. They sent it to me all the way from Toronto. So this one, and they've been like, it's really cool because I've done 3 labels for them now, and I'm going to do more in the future. I've already got a project underway with them now, but they usually just like give me the title, and then now they like just let me run wild, which is really cool. So this one was called De Gratia, which is like written on coins, and I was like, oh, coins, okay, well I will make a coin with their brewery and like the queen holding a beer. And then
so cool.
I was like, queen and Renaissance, okay, cool. Like there's Michelangelo's like Adam. What's it called? Something Adam. Creation of Adam.
Something like that.
And then coin flipping, yeah. But the thing that was really cool about this one was a bottle, and then they did like a wax seal top, and they didn't tell me they were doing, and it's so pretty and so cool.
It's so cool. Like if I saw that in a store, I'd be like, I would buy one just so I can keep the packaging. It's so cool. And like you made that. That is so cool.
I made that, and then we like opened one. I didn't like how it tasted because it's like a beer that was like aged in cognac for 3 years, so it's like really strong. It tastes basically just like cognac. But we like cut it open so just the top to come off, so there's still wax in the bottle, so we can like put flowers in it. It's like kind of a cool vase.
That is cool.
Oh, here's the label they sent me, and here's the other label that I just posted yesterday.
I love that one. I really like the other colorway you did of it too, like the peachy color.
One that was definitely way more my style, but they were like, no, we want blue. It's like really cool. I'm trying to like post my art too, because like it's crazy that like probably like most of my followers don't even know like what I do, and I could help them like with a label or could make them something if they wanted to.
Well, that's why I wanted to put one here too, to like kind of show people what you do and like who you are, because I feel like a lot of people, like I talk about you all the time, but like they don't get to see the cool stuff you do.
Yeah, and it doesn't come up like naturally. Like if I introduced you to my friends too, you wouldn't be like, hi, I make a podcast. You know, like even though you should, because that's like super cool. But
I wouldn't have before like last week anyway.
Well, yeah, that would have been really weird. And they were like, you don't have that. Why are you lying?
I'd be like, I have a username.
Yeah, no, so I'm hoping like in terms of like goal setting for this year, more just how many projects I want to do, not necessarily what they are, and then like making a website, that kind of thing. Just getting myself out there, because I feel really good when I like do a job, because I'm like, oh, I actually have a purpose and an income in this pandemic. But also, yeah, like if you don't put your stuff out there. Like, who's gonna know you?
And I feel like you have a very recognizable style, and like I think the more you put it out there, the more people will recognize it. And I think, yeah, like
Nice.
you have a totally new, I don't know, to me, you have a very different perspective than a lot of other like illustrators I've seen. And like when I see your art, like I obviously know it's yours because you've shown me it, but also I feel like I would recognize it. So I feel like I'm really excited to see all the stuff you're doing in.
Thank you. I saw this like video about someone that like, it was a TikTok again. Wow. I don't even spend that much time on TikTok, but I see a lot of, I get quite inspired by TikTok. Like there's so many incredible creators on there, and
Yeah.
that's like, it also it's funny, but most of the stuff is like DIYs or things, like these really cool videos. And I'm like, wow. And it was a video, and it was a girl, and she was like telling her friend she had this idea for this like a website or something, or this like product or something. And then she was like telling her friend, she's like, oh, but it already exists. And her friend was like, but like how many different makeup brands are there?
So
They're
many.
still producing new ones.
Yeah.
She's like, you're just, but it's not you. The one that exists is not you though. Like is gonna be different in some way.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so true, because like even you, like there's so many podcasts out there, and like that shouldn't hold you back from making one. It's
Yeah,
like,
well, like
okay,
I've
cool,
never been
the
on
world
one,
can
and
have
you've
one
never been.
more.
Yeah, like
No.
like I've never been on one, you've never been on one, so no one has ever heard our story said out loud ever before. So like even if that's the one thing that makes it different, well, like that's good enough reason for me. I don't know.
Yeah, like the Winnie the Pooh thing. If you weren't you, we'd all be a little less we.
Yeah.
Like you are somebody. You're different in some way.
Yeah.
Unless you're just like one of those like Hong Kong companies that just directly knocks off stuff.
Yeah,
And
but
like,
like
yeah.
that's clearly why like the beer, like the brewery wants you, is like you have a unique like style and you have a unique thing to offer. Like they're hiring you for a reason. They're not hiring like some random person to just write Del De Gratia in like font, like some random cool font or whatever. Like they wanted your custom hand drawn illustration because it's obviously it pops off the shelf, which is what they want. So yeah.
Thank you.
I think you could design really cool makeup packaging too. I think you would be very.
Yeah, you know, I think packaging design might be kind of what I want to go into, because I don't like a lot of like graphic design for like print or like magazine or anything like that. Something that we got to do in my program, which was really cool, was in our third year we had to design these like socks, and it was like a competition for a whole year. Which when I get my portfolio up, I'll include it. And it was with McGregor.
Okay.
They like make all these socks in Canada. Like they make for like Calvin Klein and all these different kinds of sock companies. We had to design like socks, and we like pitched it to the actual company, and it was like kind of cool. They were like, yeah, you can pitch your idea for us. You pitch like how you're going to get all these, do all the research on how you're going to get the materials, how they're going to be made, where they're going to be manufactured, how they're going to be sold. So how they're going to be displayed using visual merchandising, blah, 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 packaging, whatever. And I was like, I'll take the lead on doing all the like visuals. So like I will draw up the designs for the socks themselves and like how they're going to be packaged and whatever.
Yeah.
And we ended up going with ski and snowboarding socks. And now that I live in Banff, I'm like, these would take off here.
Totally.
Because there's so many like little boutiques, and that's what we said we'd marketed in like ski towns.
Yeah.
We sold all the rights to them when so we won, which we didn't plan on doing. We just
say what was on the socks.
Okay, yeah. So it was like a Canadian company, and like there was like so many people in our class, like our year, did like incredible designs, and our team was like, we'll do ski socks, and we didn't want to win or anything. Like but they were like the most different, I guess. And then because it was Canadian, I did like a Canadian heritage line. So there was like socks with like poutine and like Timmy's cups.
Yeah.
And like they were really cute. Like I would wear them.
I would totally wear them.
And then all of our like packaging was like for 3 socks, it was like a snowboard. And then I remember our like display was like a chairlift and like a mountain, like all of our stuff hung off of it.
Got like $3,000 or something as like a reward, right?
Did, yeah.
So cool.
We won money, and like, but like that's something that's like kind of cool, because it's like maybe I'd want to start my own sock company. Like, but it was so cool to do designs and like You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of thing I might want to do.
Yeah.
But like designing someone's logo or something. Like Bella was like a dream because we already kind of had the same like aesthetic, and she was like 70s vibes. And I was like, I got you. And I sent her the first one thinking she'd be like, oh, like, this is a great start. Like, can we do? And she was like, yep, it's perfect. I want it like that. And I was like, this is the easiest client ever. Like, I did it in yellow and red, and like I had her make me like a Pinterest board of like kind of things she liked, which I think if I like in the future I'm gonna work with people, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna like go on Pinterest for like an hour and make me a board of like things that you like, because I can kind of grasp like where you want to go directionally with this. Because it was super cool, and I think Bella's logo turned out really cool.
It turned out so cool. I love it so much.
I want her to like blow up so like everyone can see it and all her stuff too, because her designs are amazing.
Yeah, like
and it complements,
logo
I think,
you did on a tag would look so pretty.
But no, I think it's really cool, and it really complements the direction that she's headed in with her brand. Because like before, she was really focused on clothing, but she's mentioned she wants to take it to more. So that's all I'll say, because I obviously don't want to spoil like her. I wasn't say spoil her thunder. That's not what I mean. But like,
I don't want to spoil your thunder.
I don't want to spoil her thunder. But like, yeah, I think she's going to grow a lot in the next year as a brand, and it's going to be really cool to see. Totally. Isn't it freaking so cool to like see your friends do like awesome stuff?
Well, that's
like,
that's why I have you on here. Like every single time you post about your freaking like beer labels, and like when you won that sock competition and everything, like I was like, I have the freaking coolest friends, and they're so talented. And I feel like if I ever need any sort of like creative help, obviously my two best friends, you and Bella, are like right there. Where like you're
I love when we all like send each other stuff we're working on. We're like, what can we change?
Yeah.
Because like usually you have to pay for like a professional opinion, and it's just like you send it to your friends and they're like, no, change this font. Like, I don't understand.
I feel like I have a professional opinion from two very different, very cool, creative people.
It's really cool. I'm like, it's like if your like favorite artist like put out a new song or something. Like when your friend puts out something, you're like, it's way cooler than like anything, because A, it's already cool. Yeah. And B, your friend did it, so you're like.
So you want to like shout it from the rooftops and tell everyone to go listen to it.
Yeah. Like whenever you post a TikTok, I literally like it so fast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is this biased? Because I know like yesterday when you posted the one, and I was like, I already knew what story she was going to say like before she put it.
Well, yeah, like we've known each other since we were 3. So like anything like, I don't know. I feel like, and we're so similar and obviously so different in a lot of ways, but like I don't know, like you said with Bella, where we have the same kind of vibe going, where like anything you find funny, I'm going to find funny, or anything you like, any packaging that you make, obviously I'm going to love too, because we just.
Yeah, it's like, is this bias or like, is it good? Yeah. You know, sometimes you're like, is this good, or is this just Merike just crazy and it's 100% my aesthetic? Like,
is this good, or is this love?
It's probably a bit of both.
It's probably both.
You know, it's like when you think your cat's the cutest cat, or like your baby's the cutest baby.
But like my cat is the cutest.
Your cat actually is the cutest cat, and I found that cat, so I will take credit.
Yeah, you did. Oh my god, I forgot. You were the one who put me in contact with her, and I got my little barn cat.
I'm a cat owner from a distance. I do long distance cat ownering. I have a cat back in Manitoba. She lives on a farm, and I wasn't allowed to take her. Well, like Jamie's mom was like, take this cat, she's yours. And my boyfriend was like, we can't take her. And I was like, fine. But yeah, I have a friend, it's her farm, and this cat lives there. And I'm not a cat person. I'm also like really allergic to cats. Like every time I had to go get like allergy medicine, and I would take like a bunch, and I would be holding her, and my nose was completely closed, and I had like hives all up my neck and stuff, and I was like, I'm not allergic to her. This is the first cat I'm not allergic to. And they're like, I was literally like, I don't have any, there's nothing wrong here. And she's waiting for me, and my friend's mom sends me like video updates, picture updates, calls it my cat. It's like, she's waiting for you. And I really would have taken her, even in my van, and like moved her out to Alberta. But I am planning on going back to Australia for like several years. In the next year, I would have already been there now if there hadn't been like a pandemic. It would be like unfair of me to like I guess, rehome her from her farm and then rehome her again. I can't bring her to Australia too because it's like several $1,000s.
You have to pay for like them to be cared for while they're in quarantine or something because like since Australia is an island, they have to like be really careful with their like.
Well, they don't have rabies there, which I'm like, how do we make that statement? But they apparently don't have rabies at all on an entire like continent.
It's like that one city that has 0 rats or something. Have you heard about that?
Alberta. It's Alberta.
It's Alberta. Okay, I didn't know.
We spent like forever looking at this up the other day because like it was just a fact I knew. But they employ like almost like $100,000 a year just on border patrol
to make sure no rats get in.
No rats get in, which I'm like.
Is border patrol like cats walking along the border?
It's called rat patrol. I'm dead ass not kidding you. Alberta's done more for their rat patrol than their people in this pandemic. And then like I was like reading on like the Alberta government website. It's like Alberta government /rats. They like pride themselves in being one of the only places in the world with no rats. But I'm also like, I could have brought a rat in 100%. Like they didn't search my car, whatever. If no rats are allowed here, then who is this? No. This was like at one point during this pandemic, like we had the worst COVID cases per capita. It was like stupidly high, but we don't have rats.
No rats.
And we're like, this isn't the Black Plague. This is the wrong kind of animal from the start of this pandemic. Anyways, whatever. And my sister just got 4 rats again.
Yay! 4. I thought wait, what? She used to only have 2, right?
Yep, she's got 4 rats now. And she's got this like literal like 4-story cage. And she's like weird. She's like weird. She doesn't want to tell people about it because she's like, people think I'm weird. I'm like a rat. I'm like a rat girl. And I'm like, but these rats, like, they know their names. They're litter trained.
Loves you, yeah.
And my sister originally got rats a couple years ago because she'd suffered like a ski accident and she had like paralysis, and someone at like her physio recommended it because they like will run up your arm and it can like stimulate like nerve growth.
I didn't know that.
And so we like were like, well, we'll try anything at this point. And it was also like a good thing for her to have like some type of responsibility on her own and like something to look forward to and like look after.
Welcome back. We just took a break and I have completely different lighting and a different angle now, but whatever.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, I have a completely different view.
Oh my god, wait, look at Rooney.
Oh my gosh, she looks like a little bunny.
I think where we left off before we went on our drink break was telling about Australia.
Yeah, I had always wanted to go to Australia, like, from as long as I can honestly remember. My, like, first Build-A-Bear was a koala, because my grandma really likes koalas, and I, like, really like my grandma, so I was like, oh, that's her favorite animal, well, it's going to be mine now. And then I had, like, on VHS, I had, like, The Rescuers Down Under, or something. Like, I don't know where this, like, would have started, but I was like, I want to go to Australia. Like, it's just... It seems like weirdly, because it's so far away, like at least as a kid, it's almost like it's a whole other like world, like planet. Yeah. Like it's dumb to, say, but like, I mean, it is really far away, but I remember thinking it was like impossible to
go there,
like get to, like it was just like almost like in outer space. Like it was, and I didn't really understand accents when I was little. Like I remember, we had this like Australian friend and he always like talked really funny. He talked like the Wiggles. But I just assumed that, like, he had, like, a disability. And my mom had always just said, like, be, like, really nice to people that you think, like, might be disabled or have, like, something kind of...
So you were extra nice to the Australian guy?
Yeah, I really thought, like, I just remember thinking, like, he, like, talks funny. Like, he's got, like, a speech impediment. Like, or, like, something, like, just be really nice to him and listen to him when he talks to me. And then growing up now, I'm like, no, he's just Australian. And he's Chinese too. People like visualize Australians, they think like blonde, like white surfer, whatever.
Yeah.
Like his first time coming up, like coming over here, like someone had to pick him up or something at a bus stop. And she was like going to pick up her cousin's like boyfriend, and there was like one man there. It was like Chinese guy, like at the bus stop.
But she heard he was Australian, and she was like, "That's not him."
He was like, and then finally she was like, I don't know, she asked something or like, and he was like, "Oh my god, she didn't effing tell you I was Chinese."
Or you said you want to work with disabled people, and then you wanted to go to Australia, and it's because you thought the Australians were all disabled.
Yeah. Oh, with the accent? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's making more sense now. Thank you for putting the pieces together. And I was like, yeah, I want to go there after like grade 12. Like, I want to go there. And my mom was kind of like, well, let's try like 1 year of uni. If you hate it, like, it was never like my parents were like, oh, you can't go to Australia, or like you have to go to uni and do this or whatever. My mom was very much like, well, like, it's good to have a plan. Like, if you don't want to go back for a 5th year, you're not going to just like sit at home. So let's like, you know, apply to uni. If you hate it or you hate your program or whatever, then whatever, we'll work from there. And you can, and Ryerson had like an amazing like exchange program, which actually, like, talking to a lot of people in my program was like a reason for them to choose Ryerson.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, well, that's whatever. It sounds like the best of both worlds. Like, you're getting a degree, but you can also travel. Back it up also, speaking about like switching majors, and like first year, I randomly got obsessed with the show like How to Get Away with Murder, and I was like, I want to be a lawyer. Imagine.
I mean, you would be the worst lawyer, but I think you would be very unhappy.
Also, do you know how many years of schooling I have to go to get to that point? Like, it sounds like a really fun, like, oh, I could be a lawyer.
Yeah.
Like, I probably wouldn't be a horrible lawyer, but it's like, do I want to dedicate like almost as many years of school as like a doctor? No, I don't. So that was a quick dream that, anyways,
fizzled away.
Yeah. But I think that's like really normal in first year. Like, a lot of people being like, I hate this, I'm really lost, because it's such a big transition and you don't even realize, like, do I hate my program? Do I just hate university?
Or do I hate
moving home?
Do I hate
school? Yeah. Do I hate, like, you know, or like a lot of like the things you did in high school like aren't going to fly in university. Like, for example, like, I didn't study for anything in high school, or like try it all. And then I was like, I failed my first midterm. I was like, okay, so that's not going to work anymore. Like, so anyways, fast forward to
third
year, but third year, second semester, you go on exchange. You do like apply and have an interview. And then how it kind of worked was, there's only a certain number of spots at each university. So you're competing against people in like different faculties that you don't even like know. And you have to do like an interview, and then obviously you get interviewed by like your prof, some other profs that you don't know, and then they also want to match you to the right school for you. And like there were a lot of people that were interested. Obviously it's not like something that like everyone can just decide to do. Like, it's a lot of money. One pro was that you ended up only paying tuition to your university. So you didn't have to pay international fees or like, you know, pay and then translate it to a different type of currency. Like, it was going to be in Canadian dollars, like what you usually paid. Yeah. So you started applying in second year, and I was like so anxious. Like, I was a wreck for like 4 months because I was like, I really want this.
I remember.
If I can't go to Australia, I was like, and I was like, kind of like, that was also when I hit a block, like, in terms of my career and path at Ryerson. I was like, I don't know if this is right for me, but like, if I can go to, could I please go to Australia, like, get a fresh start, come back, finish kind of thing. And that was just like, we did third year, second semester, but I've heard different, like, I'm really lucky also. When I went, it was the beginning of 2019. Because I know people now the year after me that like wasted thousands of dollars and had to fly home during a pandemic. Anyway, I got into Australia. I picked Melbourne, just based on the school. So, like, Melbourne is like definitely more of like a cafe. If anyone's like interested in going, I will say, if you have like the means to go, by all means, like, please do it. You will not want to leave though, and it's like really hard to stay there. It's like such a weird, like, I hate saying utopian society, but like, it is. Like, it's Canada, but then like they literally get time and a half on Sunday. They like get like paid way better. It's just like, I find like and that's might be different too, just being in Toronto where everything is so go 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 and everyone's like so focused on themselves, and like, you know, if you're not like looking, like, you'll be pushed out of a subway. Like it's just, everyone's just so focused. It's like so work oriented, and it's just like go 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 go.
Yeah,
I think like Australia was
American lifestyle, like,
and I don't really like that at all.
Like even going to like South America like was a very different, like not at all that. And like even Europe is that but different. Like I think yeah, every continent is
Even the
definitely
West
different.
Coast, like in Canada, having
It's
moved out
different.
here,
Yeah.
it's really different.
Yeah,
Like,
it's true. And
um,
East Coast too, actually. East Coast is like so small town, like everyone knows their neighbor. I mean, maybe that's like me just being a visitor and that seems like it, but that's what I got when
it's
I went
definitely
there.
it's like in Manitoba.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just felt like the work-life balance was like so much better, and everyone makes time to like prioritize their mental health and physical health, and like they're all eating well and they like seeing their friends. And I know it's like so easy to be like, oh, the grass is always greener, but like the grass is at least always sunnier there. It's always sunny.
At the
um
very least, the grass is warm.
the grass is actually really not green there because it's
Because it's
drought.
been burnt.
Yeah, burnt. Wow, okay, you took it there. I
Sorry,
was just say, oh,
sorry.
there's a drought. No. um Ew. um but like it was incredible, and then I started panicking like before I went as well. I was like, what if this isn't all that I set it out to be in my
Yeah,
brain?
it's
And
like
then
this
I'm
is
like,
your hero. Like you've put it on a pedestal for so long that what if you hate it? I remember you saying that. You were like, what if it is not what I dreamed of?
and I was so worried about that. And like I have a friend who didn't have a great experience in Australia. She like went to the northern part and she just didn't put herself out there. Like she didn't live in like I lived in like an apartment complex like that was like associated with the university, but it wasn't. So it wasn't like a res, but like kind of. And, like you
Yeah.
had your own apartment, but it was like lots of other people around,
Yeah.
lots of other tourists around, like myself. And it was really expensive, but I talked to someone who'd gone the year before me and she was like, you got to do it. She's like, you're already spending all this money,
Just
like
go
just
all in
make sure
like you
you
were
meet
saying before.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thing is, the joke is
Um,
like everything can kill you there, and like it is kind of true. Like if you literally don't even wear like a wetsuit like in the water, you will be stung by like microscopic jellyfish that will kill you, and you're like, what the heck? um Snakes, I'm not a fan of. Spiders, I'm not. But like I don't know, I haven't witnessed it yet, so I'm like, maybe I'm like being like, it's fine and people are being dramatic. But like next time I go back, like my boyfriend lives in like country Victoria, which is like one of the states. That's like where Melbourne is.
yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, you get like huntsman spiders like easily, like, and I'm just like, no, thank you.
I would
I didn't see any
actually
yet.
I would don't think I would ever sleep. I think I would literally sleep with a machete but I wouldn't sleep, so I would just look like a corpse. I don't know.
Well, speaking of sleeping with spiders, have you ever heard that like myth that's like
You've
you
eaten
swallow
like
8
10
spiders a
spiders.
year or
Yeah.
something, or
Yeah.
whatever?
Yeah.
Dom was telling me that that was like a social experiment or like study that like PhD student or someone like a master's student, like someone in university started to see how fast misinformation can spread.
Oh.
So it was like they made that fact, and then like they documented how fast, like I guess, yeah, basically what I just said, like misinformation can be like spread and like worked and changed. Like for example, I said 8 spiders and you said 10 spiders, for example.
Yeah,
Was
well,
probably part of the study or whatever.
yeah.
But I was like, yeah, everyone has heard that, but that's like such a myth.
Or like that gum
We eat way
stays in
more
your
than that.
stomach for
No, I'm just
7
kidding.
years, which like is not true. Because like, how could your stomach acid not eat gum up?
Well, like my brother swallowed gum every day, so he would have
He would be like
a
dead.
very large mountain. Yeah, no, he wasn't allowed to have gum anymore. Spiders, whatever.
Spiders and gumballs.
Yeah. It was incredible. I went over there with my grandpa, which was really awesome. Because he was like in his 70s. He'd never seen Australia. He'd always wanted to go. My grandpa, if you know anything about my grandpa, which none of your viewers will,
Like
but
Papa Tom.
yeah, he's like into sports, like literally loves sports. Like he goes to our like local like high school, middle school like meets if there's no like sports on TV. It's like, well, then I got to go watch it the live thing, and I'm like, anyways. So like anyways, he's just like always loved sports, and he's gone to several of the like the tennis championships, like the opens. He'd seen like the US Open a few times, but there's an Australian Open. So when I got into Australia, I called him. I was like, you get to go to the Australian Open. He was like, yes. Like didn't care about anything that I like I'm going to go to school there or anything, but he was just like, whatever. So my grandpa and I ended up going, and it was like a really awesome trip for us because it was something really cool to do with him. And like when he's gone, I'll be like so thankful that I was able to go on that trip, like just the two of us, and like see
Yeah.
this place.
He got to be part of like your dream trip, sort of, you know?
Yeah. And like we had spent obviously time together, but not like
That kind
that
of
long
thing. Yeah.
time.
It's special,
Um,
yeah.
It was really special. And then we took a couple trips while we were there. Like we went and saw like the Sydney Opera House, and we went up all the way to the top and did like the Great Barrier Reef together, which was really cool. Especially because like they think it's not going to be around like too much longer at the rate that we are killing our planet. Then I moved, like he left and I stayed in Melbourne, and school was so easy.
Yeah, didn't you just take like electives or something?
Well, they told us from the beginning that it was like a pass or fail. So like it didn't matter if you had a 99% or like a 51, you'll get the credit, and it doesn't affect your GPA back in Canada. Which to my roommate meant like, okay, still we're going to try as hard as possible. Me, it meant, oh, we're just going to not do assignments. Like, who cares? Oh yeah, so I only had to take 4 classes and got credit for 6 back home. And like the semester before I left, I taken an extra course, and it was our most packed semester, so I was in 8 courses. So to go from 8 to 4, I was like, what? Great. Yeah. Which I think they do on purpose. Well, a full course load in Australia is only 4 classes. Like you don't take more than that, which I was like, cool. And then I think it's also so that they know that you like have some time to like explore and
like live an actual life.
Yeah. And then in terms of schooling, we had our own campus just for fashion, like state-of-the-art buildings, like brand new technology.
Wow.
And it was just for fashion. I'm like, I don't know if anyone's ever been to Ryerson that doesn't go to Ryerson, but it looks like a rundown high school.
Most of it does. Some of like it's like half and half. It's like half and half really high tech, and then the other half is like an old high school. It's really weird.
But like none of my classes were in like anywhere nice. That was like all for like the engineering students
or like business students. Yeah.
So it was like really cool. And then like they literally had like free lunches every time, like every day, like full on food trucks would come up, and it's insane. So like the fact that I was even able to go to university in Canada and then Australia, like incredibly lucky. Like, grandma's calling me, so that's why it went away for some reason on my screen. Hi, Grandma. Are you back?
I should have her on. That would be awesome.
Yeah, well, then do it.
I will. Because I don't want this to just be like young, like
boring people like me,
successful people. You know, like I want it to be like everyone. Like that's the whole point.
Well,
of, like,
that's why you have me on, because I'm not successful.
Yes, you are in your way. You're not like homeless or like you know, whatever. Not yet. I know. Actually, being homeless is one of my biggest fears. Like I actually feel like that. Yeah, that's like possibly my biggest fear.
If I got pregnant tomorrow, my grandma would be like incredibly excited, and I'd be like, "That's not good, Grandma. Like I have no money. Like she'd be like, baby. Like that's all she'd say from the entire thing."
My God, I would love if your grandma was like the godmother of my baby. Oh my God.
Well, I really want to have babies like really early, which like I don't want to scare anyone by saying that, but I really want my grandparents around because they were so involved in my childhood. My grandma, I want her to be around too, because I know that would be something really special for her.
Yeah.
When I had my like life planned out at like 18, I was like, I want to have a kid by 21.
Right?
Like, hello?
I know. I thought I was going to have a kid by like
with who? With who?
With who? And also like what money / where / what?
Or like it would have been fine if I hadn't chose to go to school, but like I now have student debt. Like I don't, like if I'd gone to work out of high school, then like fine, I can understand like working for 4 years, like getting a house, but like I chose school, so now I like have to do something with this degree too before I like pop out a baby. At least that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Which totally, we were talking about this the other day. There's no linear plan.
No, there's no right or wrong way. It's just what makes most sense for you.
Yeah, like you don't have to go to college, or like you don't have to have like, it's not like college, marriage, baby. It could be like marriage, or like maybe no marriage at all and then just a baby, or like no college, or like all that and then college after. Like there's no, I don't know. So that's why it's so stupid to be like, by this age I need to have accomplished this, this, and this. Like, no. I was talking to one of my friends and like writing New Year's resolutions. She doesn't really call it that. She's more like, what do I want to accomplish this year? Mm-hmm. And it's not like changing your past self, and it's not like setting really hard goals.
Something you want to check in with yourself in a year. Did you do that thing you wanted to do? Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, so that's kind of what I want to do for like 2021 is like, this is what I want to accomplish this year, and they're less defined. Mm-hmm. They're more just like
I think that's what a big thing a lot of people have learned in the pandemic is like you can't really expect anything specific. So like as long as you can like you can't really control any outside factors. So like as long as you have some sort of direction of like what little things you can accomplish or what will make you feel better, then like
Yeah.
let's keep it simple and be grateful for the things we can do. Like let's not set crazy goals for ourselves or like be upset if something big doesn't happen. Like
Right.
yeah.
Or like even if you don't gain anything potentially like new, if
Mhm.
you can improve something you already have. Like if you're like, I
Yeah.
already want to work on my relationship with my mom or something and you
Yeah.
like live with your mom because of the pandemic. Well, it's like that's manageable. You know,
Yeah.
maybe you don't be like, I want to have a boyfriend by the end of the year. It's like, well, that's gonna be a hard one because you can't go
Because
outside.
no one wants me. No, I'm kidding.
But you know what I mean? Like, or like improving yourself in some way and like not like maybe necessarily changing anything or gaining anything,
Yeah.
but just improving kind of what you already have
Yeah.
or whatever.
Or even just appreciating what you already have rather than improving it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's literally just I want to appreciate what I have this year rather than getting anything new. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
was it you that I was talking to about, or maybe someone else? But it was like, you're never going to actually ever be able to, like, in terms of personal growth and like changing yourself, that never ends.
That never ends. Yeah.
Because if you're like, okay, well, I want to like start working out or like whatever, get an 8-pack, well, then it's like, then that's going to grow like again and again and again. Like you
Well,
can
yeah,
never
once you have an
stop
eight
bettering
pack,
yourself.
you're not gonna just keep an 8-pack because you got an 8-pack. The thing is you have to keep working out every day or working out 3 times a week or whatever. And like, yeah, like you have to continuously do the things that are important to you. It's not like you just reach a finish line. It's like that whole stupid quote of like it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And like it really is true because like there is no destination in life.
Oh, you'll
There's
set
no
another
end
one.
goal. Yeah.
But it's not like setting unrealistic standards to like constantly keep making yourself be better and better and better because eventually you're just gonna freaking well you're gonna either burn out or you're not gonna be better than you were like last year. So then you're gonna feel like you're now worse. If
Yeah,
that makes any
which
sense.
isn't true at all. Yeah, like
Like just because you maybe lost that 8-pack doesn't mean you're any worse. It just you don't like that was a goal you worked towards and you didn't sustain it and then
yeah,
what now? You
yeah.
know? Oh, I don't know. An 8-pack was a dumb example. I'm never gonna have one of those, but you know what I meant.
Yeah, I used to literally work out like literally like probably like 25 hours a week and like I did not have a 6-pack at that point either. So,
Well, your body genetically will never have one.
yeah,
Like maybe,
like that's
you
literally
know,
not
like
what I know that I have body fat on top of my abs. So I will never have a 6-pack.
15 and we were like, we're so fat.
And then I
Not that
looked
we're
at
fat now,
photos.
but then you're like,
Yeah. I looked at photos and I was
that's
like,
so
"Oh
sad.
my God, I was like tiny, tiny, tiny." And I literally used to do I used to do like 20 something hours of dance a week. I used to do cross country running every day, and then I used to do extra workouts on top, and I still thought I was fat. Like how ridiculous is that? I should have just been
Okay.
happy.
Well, then going back to that whole like high school thing, it's like we were probably like in our freaking prime in terms of like societal beauty, but like at the time we like found things wrong. So
Yeah.
like just freaking love who you are at the time.
Well, and
You're like,
also like I feel like I have bigger boobs and a bigger butt than I did when I was a teenager, and I was like, "Oh, I can't fit into my jeans from grade 10." But it's like, but now I have bigger boobs and a bigger butt, which is fun. Like maybe just change how you feel about your body because you love the new parts of it. I don't know.
or like, I don't work out 25 hours a week, so I'm not
And
gonna
now I
look like
have
that
time to
anymore.
do other stuff. Yeah. But
But
now I
imagine
do
if you
like a half
go
an
to dance
hour.
for 5 days, 25 hours a week. Well, first of all, you couldn't have a job, pretty
Right.
much,
Yeah, literally that's a part-time job.
or like a social life,
Yeah.
or like something's got to go.
Yeah, like
But
now I do like half an hour dance workouts every day. Shout out to the fitness marshal. And like
well, yeah,
and that is just as good and I'm happy and like I am not like unhealthy and whatever. Yeah. And, like the time we live in right now is like right now I just started a podcast which is basically like a radio talk show is basically what we're doing right now. And I did it myself at my own home with no one's permission. How cool is that we can do that? Like you can start anything you want
but yeah,
anywhere.
like obviously it would be way cooler if I could be sitting there at the table with you. But like that's something that we can work towards, and eventually you can have in studio guests. But like it's
Yeah.
something you can totally do from wherever remote location you are.
Yeah.
You know, like I could
Like we're
be in
literally across
Australia
the
right
country.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so cool.
I think it'll this pandemic, one thing I'll say is like a pro, which like there's not that many, but one thing is it's made people really creative. Like people have totally been able to like think on their feet and do like all kinds of incredible, crazy things and like start things they'd always wanted to because they have time now. And that's awesome.
It's so awesome.
You know?
And I think, yeah, it made people kind of realize that like we all can keep living like a really creative life from home, and like we have all these amazing tools that like we all knew we already had, but I think now we're really grateful for them. Like video calling in itself is really cool. And then like everyone who's just started like online stores because you can't like shop in store anymore, like all these like even like Halloween, how like all the parents started making those like really funny shoots of like where they dropped candy down the chute
Or
and
like
just like
trick-or-treat scavenger hunts in their house.
right,
Like it's
so
so
fun.
cool.
People just have gotten so fun with it, and like online events have gotten really interesting and creative too. And like yeah, I think it's been a really horrible time, but also like a huge moment of like yeah, appreciating what we already have, like we were saying with like New Year's resolutions and stuff. That's a really good segue into like I was going to ask you about if you want to talk about mental health and stuff,
No.
especially with the no, don't ask me. Because of like the well, especially with the pandemic, but like even before the pandemic, like you have been pretty open about, at least with me obviously because I'm like your best friend, but like you've been pretty open about like taking meds and like how important that is, and like that shouldn't be a weird thing. I don't know if you want to talk about that at all, but
Yeah, because like it wouldn't be a weird thing if you like had a headache and you took an Advil.
yeah, right?
It's like an actual chemical imbalance, and it's the same thing as like a physical illness, just mental.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pandemic was really hard when it first started because I'd been on like this one specific kind of med for like 4 years, and if anyone who's been on like antidepressive or anxiety medication will know, it's like very much finding your perfect like
Cocktail.
concoction
Yeah.
cocktail. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like you have to find what works for you, and it's a lot of like trying new things and like getting your mental health maybe getting worse before you find something that makes it better.
Yeah.
And I mean that's probably what it's like with a lot of meds anyway, like probably, but
Totally. Yeah.
and I was on a medication for like 4 years. It was like good for me, like we'd up my dose a couple times, and then I guess like this makes sense, but I didn't really know. My doctor was saying is like your body can get to that medication, and then it like doesn't work anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the case for everyone. Some people, like my grandfather, has been on like he's been on the same medication for like 40 years, and like then now it doesn't work. Like, you know, like it could go on for a while. It could be like a year. It's just weird. I don't know. So, and I was like, okay, well, this is like right before the pandemic hit. I was like, well, I'm going to go into like my final semester. I'm working on my like capstone or like thesis paper. I was like, I don't really have time. This isn't working, what I was on. But I was like, but I don't really have the time right now to be trying like new medications, because I was like, what if this is going to make me like really sick or like not be able to sleep or blah, 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 blah. So I was like, all right, we're going to go off of it. And your body goes into like withdrawal, like everything. So it's like gets really bad, and then like it slowly tapers off. But then the pandemic hit, and doctors like closed. Like obviously you couldn't go there unless it was like an absolute like emergency. All these different things happened. And so for the first time in like almost like 7 years, I would say, I was off medication, and it was really bad. I was like, help, this is really bad. I knew I needed something. And I ended up finding this one prescription that ended up costing, it's like new. So in Canada, under 25, you're covered by OHIP Plus. Sorry, not Canada, Ontario, duh. And they cover a lot of like your daily prescriptions and medications.
Yeah.
And this was like a new one to the market. It was going to cost like almost $300 a month. And that's like without it being the proper dose. You get samples. Your doctor, you just have to ask about them.
Yeah.
Offer a lot of different things. Like your doctor could probably get you a free IUD if you asked, you know, like they have access to tons of things.
Yeah. But like I got lorazepam for free because they were basically like worried for my mental health. So they were like, here, have this for free because we want you to have it. And I was like, okay.
That's the least they could do, though. They were fucking shit.
Yeah, they were shit.
They're like, are you scared of your period?
Are you
Oh,
scared that
why you're suicidal?
Aww.
Duh.
Yeah, literally.
Oh, fuck.
Why
We could
you have
totally
panic
make a
attacks all the
TikTok.
time?
You can stitch that TikTok. You know that one that's like, tell me the worst thing you've ever had a medical professional tell you? 100% you could.
Yeah.
But like, I had a male doctor,
Ask if I
and
was
they were like,
afraid of getting my period, and that's why.
constant panic attacks where I was physically ill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, you know, at like 20, after having my period for 8 years,
I'm still afraid.
I'm still absolutely just fucking terrified of it. I just talked about my meds for like the whole time.
I know, but I
Anyway,
think meds is something that I feel like a lot of people are weirdly afraid to talk about meds, as if it's like, oh, like you're crazy, you're on medication. But it's like, but like you said, it's like you take medication for every other thing. So how is it so
yeah.
weird that I'm on
I
meds?
mean, I trust like medical professionals, like with
Yeah.
like even speaking about like the vaccine, like there's people
Yeah.
that are like, should I get this? I would get it tomorrow. I would have gotten it ages ago. I've been like, just do it.
Well, and also
Like
like
if you
can
think about all the other
personally,
weird shit you put in your body, I mean, we could go on forever with that.
but like you can
Um,
personally vouch that your meds have made you feel better and you feel worse without them. Well, so like
yeah.
that's enough proof for me. Like if your life is improved, then like who's to say, who's to judge, other than
Well,
you.
yeah, it's like if that person that wakes up in the morning is going to take their like epileptic medication and they're not going to have seizures, that's what they need to have a normal day. That's
Then
what I need to
great.
have a normal day, or like a diabetic with their insulin.
Yeah.
Like if I take it, I feel better. I can, like
Yeah.
be successful in society,
Yeah.
and
Feel
I
like
don't
you're
think
being
I
your
don't think
true
twice
self.
about it anymore. Like I
Yeah.
remember when I first started taking meds, I was like really young. I was like 13 when I was like diagnosed, and that's pretty young.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I remember feeling really guilty because I was like, wow, my life isn't even that bad. Why do I feel this sad? Blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, well, I don't want to take a pill that's going to change me so that I can like function. And there is a fine line, I know, between like depression and a lot of other mental disorders, between, like taking too much medication where you're completely flat and
Yeah.
you're like a robot. And I know that's an issue for a lot of people because they're like, this isn't my personality either. I'm like really numb. I'm not
Yeah.
sad, but I'm not
Because you
happy.
want to still be able to experience life to the fullest. Like you don't want to just be this person who's getting through life, but you're not experiencing anything for real. Like you want to be a real human, but you also want to be
You, but you,
equalized where you're not like,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
but you can't think about it like that. You can't think about it being like, well, I don't take this pill, then I'm crazy. It's like, that's not true. It's like, if
yeah,
this person with diabetes doesn't take their insulin, then they die. It's the same thing. It's like your body's not producing a natural thing. And this will help you
yeah,
be able to live. And once I was able to wrap my head around that, then I was like, oh. And I think it's really important to talk about too, because there are probably so many people that like, I know a lot of people that have been diagnosed with depression like way later. Like they're like, it's like university and they're like, wow, I didn't have this in high school, and which I do. And I'm like, if you could just feel like there was no stigma around it, like there'd be so many more people that were getting help. And we do live in a society where we're really lucky that a lot of the medications, at least under 25, are covered by the government.
mm-hmm.
And it allows you, like we were saying, to have that experimentation stage where you try a bunch of stuff out to find your cocktail. It's not expensive to go see a doctor in Canada. We're really lucky about that. Like I wonder how different things would be if I lived in the States, like how much my medication would be costing me every month, because it's costing me nothing now.
Yeah,
And it's really heartbreaking.
yeah,
And I also want to talk about like just destigmatizing other mental illnesses that aren't depression and anxiety, because like we've definitely talked about this. Like we know people in our lives that have bipolar disorder.
yeah.
We have an uncle that was like schizophrenic, and he was always
Yeah, and
referred
like
to as like
people
the
treat them
crazy guy.
like literally the word is like for me sort of like I'm trying to get used to not using the word crazy, because I do have a lot of family members that have really serious mental illnesses, and crazy is a word that's used to kind of make them seem like less of a person, and like that
Yeah.
their issues aren't real, that they're just crazy. But the
Or
thing is,
like
like
that's
you
not all
said,
that they
yeah,
are.
yeah, or
Or
like,
like how freaked up would it be like if you had a cousin that was like in a wheelchair, if you called him like cripple?
right? Yeah, like
Getting really good, like, or getting better at least as a society to recognize like very like prevalent issues. So like, you know, including like captions for deaf people on TikTok, or like including, you know, talking about depression and anxiety and stuff. But it's like, that's such a small
That's
portion
like, yeah, it's
of
like the tip of the
like,
iceberg. Yeah. Yeah.
but like, I guess you still have to talk about those things to then open dialogue about further things,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. It's like the doorway to the bigger picture. And like I'm so glad that we're talking about like anxiety and depression and like those normal things,
We
but
could go on for, we
we
could
could
have a
go on
whole
forever.
podcast on this.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, that's what it is. And I think like, I mean, I kind of did my like thesis was kind of on like just talking about things and how like something you don't know, you shy away from, and like how weird it is, like, because if you're uncomfortable about talking about it, you just think, oh, it's better to just like not talk about this kind of thing. And like, that's probably the worst thing you can do, because then people are just going to be like marginalized even more.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, like we could give a quadrillion examples, but it's like, if you feel uncomfortable about talking about it, then like you just don't do it. And it's like, cool, it's fine, but if you personally don't feel like comfortable about talking about it, then you need to listen to someone that is too.
Yeah.
So like that goes even for me. Like I don't know a lot about like a lot of these things, so but like people talking about it, then they give me the resources to then learn about it,
Yeah.
you know.
Totally. Yeah.
So
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I
I mean,
agree.
I guess like we could just sort of wrap this up. I don't know.
the time change really screwed me up, because I was like, it's only 4, we've only been recording for 2 hours, and I was like, no, it's 4 here.
Yeah, we've been recording sort of kind of for like 3.5 hours. But yeah, like you were asking if there's enough content here, and like we were saying before, like I don't really care what the content is on here. I think it's more just like having conversation and connecting with people and sort of just getting things out there. Like you were saying, you don't really post your work that much, and like you don't really share that much about yourself on, like, just saw that you recently deleted all your Instagram posts again. And
They've
like,
been gone for like 6 months. Yeah.
yeah, and like I feel like I'm a little bit of an oversharer online, but like I would love to include my favorite people in my oversharing if they're willing to, which clearly you are because you're here. um, so yeah, no, I think we covered a lot of like huge big topics that I wanted to cover anyway today. So I don't know if you have any closing statements.
Well, just like I was worried at first. I was like, am I even going to be a good guest? Like, I've never been on a podcast. I don't know what I'm going to say. And it's different than like, I think if I was on another podcast, because we've known each other for literally like 19 years. So
Yeah.
it was probably just going to be like mostly a phone call. And so I was just worried that like I wasn't going to say anything substantial. And I probably didn't. And that's fine. At the end of the day, we're producing something. We're doing something that a lot of people want to do and just aren't. And like, you know, you'd wanted to do this podcast for like a really long time. We
Yeah,
even
like I've
talked about
probably
doing
been
one
like
together.
sort of talking about doing a podcast for probably like 2 years.
And yeah, and we talked about maybe doing one together, and that may be something we can do in the future too, depending on like how this goes, you know. Like
Yeah, and like I was
it's
talking with
exciting.
Jordy
We've
that
jumped
like,
off the diving board.
yes, exactly. We've jumped off the diving board into the deep end with no goggles on. And like I was talking with Jordy, like saying that I would love to have reoccurring guests. Like if you ever want to be on here again, which obviously that would be fun, then like
No.
then anytime, then I would love to have the same people on, because it is just a conversation. And like obviously 2 months from now, maybe this conversation would be different. And like, yeah.
Yeah, 1 week from now, probably. I don't know if it'd be like really hard to do 4 people, but we should totally have our coven.
I agree. I want to have a coven episode. I want to have a sisters episode, like have me and my 3 sisters, and I'd love to have a coven episodes with me and you 3 also. Be awesome.
Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, we've been like in an unofficial coven for like almost like 4
years
years. No, it's a lot longer than that. It was before I went to Australia. And I've been out of Australia for 2 years.
Oh God,
So,
I don't know. The pandemic literally made my life.
I
don't know
true.
I don't even know what year it is anymore.
Have you seen that thing where like you're not supposed to call it a pandemic anymore? You're supposed to call it like a panini or like a panoramic. Or like it's just a bunch of random P words. And I'm like, okay, I'm trying to do that. But every time I like say we're in a panoramic, Dom's like corrects me. And I'm like, I know it's not. Like we've had this now for 10 months. I know it's a panoramic. Okay, I know. But thank you for having me on. I feel really honored that you asked if I wanted to be on this. Because like I said,
I ask.
I can think of a lot more people that I would have asked before asked me.
Well, I'm so happy you wanted to be on. And yeah, longest standing friend pretty much in the world, other than people who are related to me or who went to summer camp with me.
That doesn't count.
Yeah, exactly.
We chose to be friends.
We
You were
chose to-
forced to be friends with those
But
people.
like, I don't know. I feel like I was forced to be your friend too, you know, when I was invited to all your princess
I wasn't
pizza
mean.
parties. I'm kidding.
Jeez. But like
No.
we also chose to be friends again, like seriously in high school, and that was
Yeah.
a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah, isn't that crazy? We like re-chose to be friends probably like 7 years ago already,
Which is insane.
which is like the third time we've chosen to be friends. So clearly it's meant to be.
Well, like we've been consistently friends, but like
Yeah.
we chose like randomly in like grade 11. We're like, it's me and you, baby. We're riding that. We're riding that.
Ride or
scooter to
die till
school.
the end.
Yeah, and then we went to like the same university, like not on purpose.
I stalked you.
And okay,
No, but didn't we both also get into Carleton?
yeah, we didn't go there.
Yeah, we
You
both.
imagine if we'd gone there, not to like shit on
That would
Carleton,
be
but
a
like
very different.
us in
reality.
Ottawa, that would not have worked.
Yeah.
We would have for
You
sure
would've been-
dropped out.
Like, what program did you get into there again? I don't remember.
Social work.
Yeah, and I got into architecture.
What?
We would have been like the
they kept
boring
offering,
versions
like,
of
money to
ourselves.
come. We kept
We
getting like increased scholarships, and I was like, I'm not going. I didn't even finish my application. Stop contacting me.
Wait. You leave. I have things I need to actually ask.
He didn't say his
for the
statement on
podcast.
us, though. He didn't say his statement on us.
Oh, he needs to say his statement.
Yeah, say something about us.
You guys are the best.
Oh.
We can keep that in.
Okay, we'll keep that in.
Okay, bye, Esau. Came over. It was like me and Dom. It was like you and Helmy, and he's like, I gotta go to the store. Are you guys gonna be okay, like entertaining these two? And I was like,
Yeah, literally my best friend and her boyfriend, I think will be okay.
yes, we'll manage. They'll keep us entertained somehow. We did only come over here for the barbecue. She did make a barbecue that night, but
Probably.
anyways.
But I was gonna say that where can people listening find you if they want to find your work?
Well, hopefully I will make a website soon, but I have an Instagram. It's at dot. No, it's not. It's not that. It's at made.by.sade.
And Sade is
yeah.
SADE, right?
And if you have any affiliation with Merike, it will probably come up
Yeah.
when we search made. So that's your best bet.
And
I will hopefully be making a website.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll just put this out there because then maybe I'll do it. But I have wanted to start a YouTube channel for so long.
It'd be such a good YouTuber.
I might want to do that. I just have to come up with content because people do want to gain some of that from the videos they watch. And yeah.
No, I think that would be amazing. And if you do start that, then obviously I'll share it whenever that does happen. But
obviously I'll like it. I'll follow it. I was like, yeah.
You will? Well, that too. But yeah, I'll tag Made by Sade so people will find it.
And if you follow me on my regular Instagram, it's in my bio. So
yeah. Okay, well, thank you so much for being on here.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for listening.
Make sure to follow on Instagram and TikTok at heyhiwhoareyou.pod to stay up to date on new guests and new episodes.